Recurring Nightmares by Colton Dennis. 3 years after all of his monsters came to life, Colton Dennis now lives a quiet life in Manhattan, New York, where he has another museum. But when all of the co-writers and their creatures come to life, Colton must try to stop them from killing all of his co-writers. Part 1. In Colton's mind. 3 years ago, I bought a museum. I filled it with all my creatures I wrote about in my books. Then I received a package that had an amulet. Someone told me it was a protection amulet. But she was wrong. It was an amulet of the dead. The worst part was, I built my museum on top of an old burial ground that was demolished. The spirits didn't like me disturbing their resting place. So, my creatures came to life and destroyed the town. I needed to stop them. While in the middle of it, I ran into some old friends. Then I discovered the only way to defeat my monsters was to destroy my manuscripts. It worked. All my creatures were destroyed. Until my security guard, Simon, was killed. Then I promised myself I'd never have another museum. Boy, was I wrong and stupid to reconsider. I just hope I don't get blamed again like the last time. So, here we go, said Colton. Manhattan, New York. 3 years later. A building appears all dusty and full of cobwebs. The front door of the building opens. Right this way, Mr. Dennis, said Realtor number 1. Please call me Colton. I'm not one of those celebrities, said Colton. All right, this is the place you wanted to look at, right? Asked Realtor number 1. Yes, this'll do, said Colton. Are you gonna use this as your officer to write? Asked Realtor number 1. No, I'm using this place as a museum, said Colton. It's gonna be a small museum, said Realtor number 1. It's gonna have the creations of me and my co-writers, said Colton. Ah, I really didn't like those books. Sorry to say, said Realtor number 1. Say whatever you want. I do. But just so you know, those books became number 1 on the bestseller list, said Colton. Oh, well, maybe we should sign the papers, said Realtor number 1, pulling out a folder. Where do I sign? Asked Colton. Here and there, said Realtor number 1. Colton signs his name onto the clipboard. Here you go, said Colton. All right, enjoy your new museum. I'll stop by after everything's done. I'd love to see the museum, said Realtor number 1, walking away. Colton looks around the room, then smiles. A closet door opens. A broom appears, then is being grabbed. Colton is sweeping the floor, puts the dirt into a pile, then sweeps it onto a dust pan. The cobwebs are being destroyed. A can of lemon pledge gets sprayed onto a rag. The rag wipes off the shelves. It looks great, said Colton. I'd say, said Brianna Thompson, appearing in the doorway. Bri, what are you doing here? Asked Colton. I heard you were in town, so I wanted to stop by, said Brianna. Both Brianna and Colton hug each other. So, how's Ryan doing? Asked Colton. He's good. A pain, but good, said Brianna. Like always, said Colton. You know, I'm glad we stayed friends, said Brianna. Me too. Hey, stop by next week. That's when we open, said Colton. I'll try. But Ryan might have work, said Brianna. All right, it was nice seeing you again. I need to finish up, said Colton. All right, said Brianna. Tell Ryan I said, and quat. Hi, and quat, said Colton. I will. I hope your museum does well this time, said Brianna. This time, I'm hoping nothing comes alive, said Colton. See ya, Colton, said Brianna walking out of the building. Colton watches Brianna walking away. A truck pulls up next to the curb. Mr. Dennis, asked driver number 1. That's me, said Colton. Sign here to notarize the shipment, said driver number 1. Colton signs his name onto the clipboard, then hands it back to driver number 1. All of my stuff's in there? Asked Colton. Both trucks. All right, let's unload them, said driver number 1. The trailer doors of the trucks open. Crates appear being put into a hand truck. The hand truck is being pushed into the building. Here's the last one, Mr. Dennis, said driver number 2. Thanks for your help. Here's a little something, said Colton, handing a $20 bill. Thank you. Enjoy your day, said driver number 1. You too. The drivers are walking away. All right. Let's see what we got here, said Colton, grabbing a crowbar, sticks it into a crate, then pushes onto it. The crate lid breaks open, then falls onto the floor. A wax figure of man in hoodie appears. Colton smiles. The other crates are being opened. Wax figures of Bigfoot, zombies, Abby, Harding, dwarvish zombie elves, a police officer, Mabel de Sousa, hammerhead, octo, mutant, sharks, cephalopods and an ossuary appear. Knocking on the front door. Mr. Dennis, we have another crate for you. It's pretty big, said driver number 1. Colton walks outside of the building. A big crate appears. It must be my funhouse. We're gonna have fun bringing that around the back, said Colton. A truck drives down the alley, then stops. The back doors of the building open. The big crate is slowly being lowered. The crowbar goes into the crate. The side wall of the crate falls onto the ground. A wax funhouse appears. 2 hand trucks lift the crate. The crate goes into the building. There you go, Mr. Dennis, said drive number 1. Thanks again, guys, said Colton, shaking driver number 1's and driver 2's hands. I hope your museum does well, said driver number 1. Same here, said Colton. I'm gonna stop by on the grand opening, said drive number 2. The more the merrier. See ya and drive safely, said Colton. The truck drives away. Colton walks into the building, then looks at all their crates. The crate pieces are being placed against the walls. Zombies are being placed. Colton nods his head, then walks away. Bigfoot is being pushed against the wall. Colton walks away. Both Hammerhead and Octo are being placed next to each other. Colton looks around the room, then smiles. The wax figures are set up against the walls. Colton starts to walk, stubs his toe, then picks up the ossuary. A tapping sound echoes. Colton places the ossuary onto a stand. Wow, it looks wonderful, said Brianna. What are you doing back here? Asked Colton. I wanted to stop by again. Ryan invited you to dinner. I hope you can accept, said Brianna. Yeah, I'll stop by. What day do you want to do dinner? Asked Colton. Whenever you want, said Brianna. How about Friday? Is that good? Asked Colton. Yeah, Friday's good. See you then, said Brianna. Yep, bye. Brianna walks away. Colton opens a bag, then pulls out a telephone. The telephone cord gets plugged into an outlet. Colton picks up the telephone, then pushes the buttons. I hope he's home, said Colton. A telephone is ringing. A hand grabs the receiver. Yeah, said male voice number 1. Tony, it's Colton Dennis. I'm just calling to tell you. Next Saturday, my new museum will open. I want you here for that, said Colton. Yeah, I'll be there, See you next Saturday, said Anthony Cardone, appearing, then hangs up their telephone receiver. One down, more to go, said Colton, pressing the buttons again. Night falls. Colton grabs his trench coat, a hat, the keys, then walks towards the front door. Voices are echoing in a different language. Colton stops, then looks at the ossuary. The voices stop echoing. Colton walks towards the ossuary, then picks up the lid. The lid gets put back onto the ossuary. Colton walks away. The front door opens, shuts, then gets locks. A motorcycle starts, then drives away. The ossuary appears. The voices start echoing in a different language again. The motorcycle stops, then turns off. Colton gets off of the motorcycle, walks, then stops. A figure appears standing in the darkness down the sidewalk. Colton looks in at the figure, nods his head, then looks at his cell phone. The figure continues standing in the darkness. Colton looks at the figure again, then starts walk up the staircase. The voices are echoing in a different language. Colton stops, then looks back at the figure. The figure starts walking towards Colton, then transforms into a demon. Colton's eyes widen, then he closes them. A hand touches Colton's right shoulder. Colton opens his eyes. Sharon Wright appears. Colton, are you all right? Asked Sharon. I'm fine, Graham. Thought I saw something, said Colton. Well, there's nothing there now. Come inside. It's cold out here, said Sharon. Yeah, said Colton. Both Colton and Sharon walk into a house. So, did you see your building? Asked Sharon. Yeah, I got all my wax figures set up, said Colton. When do you open? Asked Sharon. Next Saturday, and all the co-writers are coming on the grand opening, said Colton. Good, said Sharon. Are you gonna be there too? Asked Colton. I don't know, Colton. I'll see how I feel, said Sharon. I'd love for you to be there, said Colton. I know. I'll try, said Sharon. Oh, I ran into Brianna today. Her and Ryan live here now, said Colton. How's she doing? Asked Sharon. She's fine. Invited me to dinner tomorrow, said Colton. That's great that you're still friends, said Sharon. Me too. Well, I'm off tonight, said Colton. Night, Colton, said Sharon. Colton walks into his bedroom, takes off his trench coat, hangs it up, sees a picture of Brianna, then sits onto his bed. Why'd I let you go? Asked Colton, laying onto his bed. Footsteps are walking and echoing. Colton looks around. A figure appears in the darkness in the distance. Colton looks at the figure. The figure approaches Colton. Colton runs, gets to a door, then pulls out his keys. A key goes into the door. Lock, then it turns. The door opens, then shuts. The figure's shadow appears on the door. Colton steps backwards, then turns around. The wax figures are staring at Colton. Colton screams, then wakes up. Colton, it's all right. You were having a nightmare, said Sharon. Yeah, a terrible nightmare, said Colton. Are you all right now? Asked Sharon. My breath's coming back. I'm fine, Graham, said Colton. All right. Try to get some more rest, said Sharon. I will. Sorry for waking you, said Colton. No problem, just relax, said Sharon, walking out of the bedroom. Colton sighs, sees the window open, walks towards it, closes it, then sees the figure standing in the darkness on the sidewalk across the street. What the hell? Colton rubs his eyes, then looks again. The figure is gone. Something's going on, and I'm gonna find out what, said Colton, closing the curtain, then walks away. The figure reappears. The sun rises. Sharon walks downstairs, then into the kitchen. "Morning, Colton," said Sharon. "Morning, Graham. Coffee?" asked Colton. "I'd love some," said Sharon. Colton grabs a mug, then pours the coffee into it. "Sleep well?" asked Colton. "Yeah, you?" asked Sharon. "Not really. Couldn't fall asleep after that nightmare," said Colton. "So, what's your plan today?" asked Sharon. "Today, I was just gonna stay home until I go to Brianna's and Ryan's," said Colton. "All right," said Sharon. Colton typing on his cell phone. Pictures of demons appear. Colton writes onto a piece of paper, then scrolls down the page. "Graham, do you know anything about demons?" asked Colton. "No," said Sharon. "Do you believe in demons?" asked Colton. "Yes," said Sharon. "All right, I just wanted to know," said Colton. "What are you looking up?" asked Sharon. "I think someone's following me. I keep seeing them," said Colton. "What do they look like?" asked Sharon. "I don't know. It's usually dark. All I see is their silhouette," said Colton. Well, you'll find out who it is," said Sharon. "Thanks, Graham," said Colton. A car driving past. The motorcycle pulls up next to then turns off. Colton gets off of the motorcycle, walks up the staircase, then pushes a button. "Who's there?" asked Brianna. "It's Colton," said Colton. "Come on up," said Brianna. A buzzer sound. Colton opens the front door to the apartment building, then walks inside. The elevator dings. The doors open. Colton walks off the elevator towards an apartment door, then knocks onto it. The apartment door opens. Brianna appears. "Hey, Bri," said Colton. "Come on in, Colton." Colton walks into the apartment. The apartment door shuts. "Thanks for coming," said Brianna. "Thanks for having me over," said Colton. "Please, sit," said Brianna. Colton sits onto a couch. "So, where's Ryan?" asked Colton. "He had to work late. So, it's just us for dinner," said Brianna. "That sucks. I was excited to see him. Haven't seen him since we broke up," said Colton. "You still mad about that?" asked Brianna. "No, I'm glad you two got together," said Colton. "Really?" said Brianna. "Of course, my ex-girlfriend and my friend." "So, what's for dinner?" asked Colton. "I made chicken, stuffing and carrots," said Brianna. Both Brianna and Colton are sitting at a table laughing. "That was funny," said Colton. Brianna slowly stops laughing. "So, more water?" asked Brianna. "I'd love another," said Colton. "I'll take your plate too," said Brianna, grabbing the plates. Colton stands up, then walks around the apartment. "Nice pictures," said Colton, stopping. Brianna looks up at Colton. "Oh no," said Brianna. Colton is staring at the amulet. "You took the amulet." "Why?" asked Colton. "I wanted something to remind me of you," said Brianna. "Usually ex-girlfriends take a shirt, pictures, or even hair. But you took something that destroyed my career," said Colton. "Stop telling me what I can and can't have. We're not together anymore," said Brianna. "True, but I'm saying this as a friend." "Get rid of this," said Colton. "I will not," said Brianna. Colton sighs. "You know what? I'm overreacting. I'm sorry. It just reminds me of what happened. But we don't have to worry anymore. I didn't build it on a graveyard this time," said Colton. "Yeah? Hey, can I check out the museum?" asked Brianna. "Next Saturday, and you can also meet The other co-writers I wrote with, said Colton. That'll be cool, said Brianna. Colton looks at his watch. Oh, it's late. I better get going, said Colton. All right, I can't wait to see your museum, said Brianna. Me too, tell Ryan hi, since I missed him, said Colton. I will. Have a safe ride home, said Brianna. I will, said Colton. The apartment door opens then shuts. Colton walks out of the apartment building then sits onto the motorcycle. Colton looks up. A demon appears. Colton, said a demonic voice. Colton closes his eyes then opens them. The demon is gone. Colton looks around. What the hell's going on? Asked Colton. The motorcycle starts then drives away. Brianna appears washing the dishes. The apartment door opens. Ryan, is that you? You just missed Colton. Ryan. Brianna looks into the living room then turns around. Ryan Stieber appears. Oh, you scared? Me, said Brianna. Sorry, said Ryan. You missed Colton, said Brianna. I saw him leave. Sorry I was late, said Ryan. No worries. Are you hungry? Asked Brianna. No, I'm tired. Gonna go lay down, said Ryan. The sun rises. Colton is looking at his cell phone. Hey Colton, what you doing? Asked Sharon. Just looking something up, said Colton scrolling down the page then looks at the ossuary. Receipt. What's that? Asked Sharon. My receipt for my ossuary prop, said Colton. Oh, did you get screwed? Asked Sharon. No. I have a weird feeling about it, said Colton. What do you mean? Asked Sharon. I keep seeing this demon spirit. It's so very odd that it's attached to the ossuary, said Colton. Well, that is odd, said Sharon. That's why I'm looking it up. And I just found out what's up, said Colton. What? Asked Sharon. I didn't order a prop. I ordered a haunted ossuary. Which means there's a demon in my museum, said Colton. The apartment building appears. Brianna appears. Vacuuming then looks at the empty frame. What the? Said Brianna. Colton continues staring at the ossuary receipt then his cell phone starts ringing. Brianna. Hey Bri, what's up? Asked Colton. Colton, did you take my amulet? Asked Brianna. No, said Colton. Colton. Seriously? Asked Brianna. Brianna, I didn't take your amulet. That amulet destroyed my career. Why would I want it? Asked Colton. I don't know, but it's gone. It's not in my frame, said Brianna. Was anyone in your apartment? Asked Colton. You were the last person we had over, said Brianna. You can't think of anyone else? Asked Colton. Who'd be in me and Ryan's apartment? Asked Brianna. Ryan, said Colton. You don't actually think he'd take it? Asked Brianna. Maybe. Colton has an imagine of the figure standing in the darkness, then sees Ryan. Oh God, said Colton. What? Asked Brianna. Ryan has it, said Colton. Why would he have it for? Asked Brianna. Colton has an imagine of his nightmare. 2. Wake up my wax figures, said Colton. What do you mean, and quat? Wake them up, and quat? Asked Brianna. I mean, what happened 3 years ago, said Colton. Ryan appears in front of the building. The front door lock breaks, then it opens. Ryan walks into the building, shuts the front door, grabs a chair, then blocks it. It's time to wake up, said Ryan, raising the amulet. The motorcycle approaches, stops next to the curb, then turns off. Colton runs towards the building. The front doors are shaking. Shit. Colton runs towards the window. And quat? Ryan and quat, don't, and quat, yelled Colton. Ryan smiles, then speaks in a different language. A light appears, then glows. The floor starts rumbling. The wax figure's eyes glow black. An explosion inside the building. The windows of the building break. Colton gets thrown across the street, then goes unconscious. Part 2. The wax figure of the man in a hoodie starts moving his arms, then steps off of the platform. The wax figure of Bigfoot roars. The wax figures of the zombies start moaning. The wax figure of Abby Harding pulls out a knife. The wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves start laughing. The wax funhouse lights turn on. More wax figures of zombies are walking out of the wax funhouse. The wax figure of the police officer pulls out a handgun. The wax figure of Mabel do. Sousa smiles. The wax figures of Octo, Hammerhead, mutant sharks, and cephalopods pull out swords. Ryan laughs. Monsters of Colton Dennis. You're free. Go destroy the city and let them know that no one will stop us. And quat, go, and quat, yelled Ryan. The front door of the building breaks down. The wax figure of Bigfoot roars, then runs away. The wax figures are running through the streets. Ryan is watching, then laughs. A car pulls up, then stops. Brianna looks at the building, looks around. Sees Colton laying on the ground, then runs towards him. Colton, are you all right? Asked Brianna. Colton groans, rolls over, then sees Brianna. Ain't you a sight for sore eyes? Said Colton. What happened? Asked Brianna. Colton slowly stands up, then walks towards the building. Oh no, said Colton. It's happening again, said Brianna. Yeah, Ryan did this, said Colton. Ryan, why? Asked Brianna. It's not actually him, mentally. He's possessed by that, said Colton. The ossuary, how? I thought it was a prop, said Brianna. I ordered the wrong one. The one I got is haunted. It has a demon spirit inside it. Like my book and quat, Breacher, and quat, said Colton. So, my boyfriend's possessed. And your creatures came back to life, said Brianna. Well, they can't do much damage this time, right? Asked Colton. A car stops. A wax badge is being shown. I need your car. Get out, said the wax figure of the police officer. My number one gets out of the car. The handgun fires. My number one gets shot. Then falls onto the ground. The wax figure of the police officer gets into the car. The car drives away. My number 2 and number 3 appear walking. Hey, big boy, said the wax figure of Abby. My number 2 and man. Number 3 walk towards the wax figure of Abby. The wax figure of the man in the hoodie hits number 3 with a shovel. My number 2 looks at the wax figure of the man in the hoodie, turns around, then gets his throat cut. A group of kids appear running around the playground. The wax figure of Mabel appears, standing next to the fence, then smiles. The wax figures of Octo, Hammerhead, mutant sharks, and cephalopods walk into the water. People are screaming and running around. The wax figures of the zombies appear walking around and eating people. A truck appears driving. The wax figure of Bigfoot appears, stops the truck, then flips it. The truck catches on fire. The wax figure of Bigfoot roars, then runs away. The building appears. So, what's the plan? Asked Brianna. Burn the books. That worked the last time, said Colton. I'll collect the books, said Brianna, grabbing the books, then reaches for the apocalyptic fun book. A foot steps onto the book. Brianna looks up, then sees Ryan. Hey honey, what you doing? Asked Ryan. Ryan, what are you doing here? Asked Brianna. I wanted to see Colton's museum. It's terrible, said Ryan. A lighter opens, then is being lit. Ryan looks at Colton. Hey Ryan, said Colton holding a lighter underneath the breacher book. Hey Colton, buddy, do you wanna lower that lighter? Asked Ryan. I don't think so, said Colton. Don't do anything stupid, said Ryan. You mean, like this? Asked Colton, lowering the book onto the lighter. The book catches on fire. No, said Ryan, stepping backwards, then collapses onto the floor. Is he all right? Asked Brianna. He will be. Help me with the other books, said Colton. Both Brianna and Colton put the books into a pile. Are you sure this is gonna work? Asked Brianna. It worked 3 years ago and few seconds ago, said Colton, opening the lighter, then lights it. Ryan stands up behind both Brianna and Colton, then laughs. Both Brianna and Colton turn around. Nice try, but I'm still here, said Ryan, punching Colton. Colton goes into the wall. Ryan, said Brianna. Ryan steps onto the burnt book, picks it up, then sees Richard's name. Oh, you're not the only author. Since we're planning on hurting my friends, I think I'll do the same to yours, said Ryan. You don't know where they are, said Colton. Ryan approaches Colton, grabs his hair, then puts his finger onto his forehead. Imagines of numbers are being pushed. Ryan lets go of Colton. I got their numbers. This weekend, New York becomes ours, said Ryan. No, said Colton, crawling towards Ryan. Sorry, Colton, you're not part of the plan, said Ryan, rising, then flies out the window. Bree, are you all right? Asked Colton. I'm fine. Where's Ryan? Asked Brianna. He left. We need to find him before he finds my co-writers, said Colton. Why's he after them? Asked Brianna. I don't know, said Colton. Ryan continues flying, then stops. Monsters and killers, we have a problem. Ryan throws the books. Colton wrote with a co-writer. We need to kill them. I'll bring them here to Manhattan, then you'll do the rest. No one will stop us. Not even Colton, said Ryan. A car is swerving. The wax figure of Bigfoot throws the car, then roars. The car drives over people. The wax figure of the police officer is laughing. The wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves are cutting down a telephone pole, laugh, then run away. Boats appears driving, then get bumped. The wax figures of the cephalopods and mutant sharks are attack the boats. Both the wax figure of Hammerhead and Octo are laughing. Look, Hammerhead, more boats, said Telegram wax figure of Octo. Let's have some fun, said the wax figure of Hammerhead. The wax figures of the zombies are moaning. People are running into a building. I think we're safe here, said woman number 1. A gun cocks. Both the wax figure of Abby and the wax figure of the man in the hoodie appear. You chose the wrong building, said Abby. The guns are continuously firing. People are being shot, then fall onto the floor. Both Brianna and Colton run out of the building. They're destroying Manhattan, said Brianna. I need to find my grandmother. Then we'll find a way to destroy them. Hopefully, said Colton. Both Brianna and Colton run. Ryan closes his eyes. Telephones are ringing, then being answered. Hello, said Richard Hardy, appearing. Guys, I need help. Come to Manhattan immediately, said Colton. The telephone hangs up. The dial tone is beeping. Ryan opens his eyes. There's gonna be a lot of dead authors soon, said Ryan, smiling. Both Brianna and Colton run into the house. The front door opens. Grandma, are you here? Asked Colton. Colton, what's going on? Hello, Bree, said Sharon. Gram, my monsters came back to life. Again. They're destroying Manhattan, said Colton. Oh dear, what should we do? Asked Sharon. We need to leave, grab your purse and jacket, said Colton. Colton, what about Ryan? We can't just leave him possessed, said Brianna. We need to leave him. I can't destroy my monsters this time, said Colton. Then we must leave, said Sharon. I'm not leaving without Ryan, said Brianna. I'm not letting you to get hurt, said Colton. So, you're staying? Asked Brianna. Yeah, Gram. Stay inside the house while we figure this out, said Colton. The telephone rings. Hello, Colton. It's for you, said Sharon. Hello, said Colton. Colton, it's me, Brandon. I'm outside your museum and it's destroyed man. What's going on? Asked Brandon Schenk, appearing. Brandon, stay there. I'm on my way, said Colton, hanging up the telephone. What's up? Asked Brianna. Brandon's at my museum. He said, and quat. I called him, and quat. I don't remember that, said Colton, walking outside. Wait, Colton. I'm coming, said Brianna. The building appears. Brandon appears outside of the building. Where is Colton? Asked Brandon. Footsteps are walking. The wax figures of the cephalopods appear. Brandon sees the wax figures of the cephalopods, then turns around. The wax figures of the mutant sharks appear. Brandon turns around again. A wax hand grabs Brandon by his throat. The wax figure of Hammerhead appears, then sniffs Brandon. He has the scent, said the wax figure of Hammerhead. What scent? Asked Brandon. You wrote a book with Colton Dennis, right? Asked the wax figure of Octo. Yes. What's the meaning of this? Asked Brandon, getting thrown into the building, then groans. Both the wax figure of Hammerhead and Octo walk into the building. You stay outside, said the wax figure of Octo. The wax figure of Hammerhead approaches Brandon. Let's see how he tastes, said the wax figure of Hammerhead. Both Brianna and Colton are running. Stop, then see the wax figures of the mutant sharks and the wax figures of the cephalopods. Colton, a gun store, said Brianna. That won't work, said Colton. No, but they'll slow them down, said Brianna. The wax figure of Hammerhead picks up Brandon, then opens his mouth. Guns are firing. Both the wax figures of the cephalopods and the wax figures of the mutant sharks are falling onto the ground. What's going on? Asked the wax figure of Hammerhead. Our army has fallen, said the wax figure of Octo. Impossible, said the wax figure of Hammerhead, dropping Brandon. Psst, said Brianna. Brandon crawls towards Brianna. Both the wax figure of Hammerhead and the wax figure of Octo look out the window. The wax figure of Octo turns around, then sees both Brianna and Brandon. Hammerhead, said the wax figure Octo. Both the wax figure of Hammerhead and the wax figure of Octo run towards both Brandon and Brianna. Brianna shuts the steel door. The sound of pounding on the steel door. Damn it, said the wax figure of Hammerhead. We'll just go around the building, said the wax figure of Octo. Both the wax figure of Hammerhead and the wax figure of Octo turn around. Colton appears next to the window holding 2 grenades, then drops them. Oops, said Colton, running away. An explosion inside of the building. Colton coughs. Colton, are you all right? asked Brianna. I'm fine. Brandon, nice seeing you, said Colton. Sure. What were those things? Asked Brandon. Our creatures we made in our book, said Colton. Hey Colton, look at this, said Brianna. Blood appears everywhere. Blood, how odd, said Colton. I thought they were wax, said Brianna. They are, unless, said Colton. Unless what? Asked Brianna. They're becoming real. We know how to beat them, said Colton. Why not burn the books? Like last time, said Brandon. We've tried that already. So, we need to kill the monsters, said Colton. How many more? Asked Brandon. 9 more books, said Colton. 8, said Brianna. What? Asked Colton. Your funhouse was destroyed. It was inside, remember, said Brianna. It may have been destroyed, but the zombies are still alive, said Colton. Brianna's cell phone is ringing. Brianna pulls out her cell phone. Hello, said Brianna. Hey Brianna, it's Bonnie Mosca, Colton's aunt, said. Bonnie, hey, what's up? Asked Brianna. I got into a car accident, said Bonnie. That's terrible, said Brianna. That's not the worst part, said Bonnie. What's the worst part? Asked Brianna. There's zombies surrounding me, said Bonnie. Where are you? Asked Brianna. Oak Street, said Bonnie. We'll be right there. Cell phone hangs up. We need to go, said Brianna. Who was that? Asked Colton. Your Aunt Bonnie? She's in trouble. She got into an accident, said Brianna. Is she? Asked Colton, being interrupted. She's fine, got a bigger problem, said Brianna. What? Asked Colton. You're zombies, said Brianna. Shit, Brandon. Stay here, said Colton. Of course, said Brandon. The motorcycle starts, then drives away. Bonnie Mosca appears in her car. The wax figures of the zombies are moaning. The motorcycle approaches, then stops. There she is, said Colton. Look at all those zombies, said Brianna. I didn't have this many. Some are actual people, said Colton. Like they were real, said Brianna. The windows start breaking. Bonnie opens the glove compartment, then pulls out a handgun. I knew this day would come, said Bonnie, firing the handgun. The wax figures of the zombies are being shot, then fall onto the ground. Get off. I need to get her, said Colton. Be careful, said Brianna. Ain't I always? Asked Colton. The motorcycle drives towards the wax figures of the zombies, then goes onto its side. Colton rolls on the road. The motorcycle takes out the wax figures of the zombies. Colton stands up, fires his gun, then gets to Bonnie's car. The windshield gets smashed. Colton, said Bonnie. Hey Aunt Bonnie, come on out. It's sort of safe, but, said Colton, firing his gun. Bonnie crawls out of the car windshield, then fires her handgun. Is this why you called? Asked Bonnie. I'll explain later. Just run, said Colton. Both Bonnie and Colton are running. The wax figures of the zombies are moaning, get shot, then fall onto the ground. Bonnie, are you all right? Asked Brianna. Do you see any more zombies? Asked Colton. A lot, said Bonnie. No. Of mine? Asked Colton. Is he stoned? Asked Bonnie. No. Everything in his museum came to life again, said Brianna. Another burial ground? Asked Bonnie. No. A haunted ossuary, said Colton, firing his gun. Gas appears leaking from the car. The gun fires again. Both the motorcycle and the car explode. The wax figures of the zombie start burning. I think that did it, said Colton. 8 to go, said Brianna. 8 what? Asked Bonnie. Monsters. Let's get back quickly, said Colton. A jeep approaches. Hey, a jeep, said Brianna. All three are waving. The jeep pulls to the side of the road. Yes. All three are running towards the jeep. Hey, we need. Jamie Mitchell appears in their driver's seat. Aunt Jamie, said Colton. Hey Colton, why'd you call me all in a panic? Asked Jamie. I'll explain on the way. We need to go, said Colton. All three getting into the jeep. The jeep drives away. What is going on? Asked Jamie. My monsters have returned, said Colton. What do you mean? Asked Jamie. Remember 3 years ago when everything in my museum came to life? Jamie nods her head. Exactly the same thing, said Colton. Wow. The jeep continues driving, then stops. Oh my God, said Jamie. All four look at the playground. The kids' bodies appear laying in the playground. This ain't good, said Colton. All four get out of the jeep. Who'd do something like this? Asked Jamie. Mabel de Souza, said Colton. Who's that? Asked Jamie. Our killer in Family Vacation, said Colton. She kills kids? Asked Brianna. Yep, said Colton. How sick and demented are you? Asked Brianna. Hey, I only wrote the book. She came up with the plot. This isn't just on me, said Colton, being hit with a shovel. Colton, said all three of them. The wax figure of Mabel appears. Sick children must die, said Mabel, swinging the shovel. Jamie ducks. Mabel swings the shovel again. Jamie moves backwards. Get away from me, said Jamie. I must kill the co-writer, said the wax figure of Mabel, raising the shovel. A gun fires. Blood splatters onto Jamie. The wax figure of Mabel gasps, then falls into the ground. Colton approaches, then fires his gun. The wax figure of Mabel gets shot in her head. Jamie, are you all right? Aunt Jamie? Asked Colton. I'm fine, said Jamie. Damn bitch. Any harder? I'd be dead. Colton's cell phone starts ringing. Hello, said Colton. Colton, it's me, Dominic. I'm outside your museum with Brandon. What happened to it? Man, asked Dominic. I'll be right there. We need to get to my museum. Bigfoot is gonna be there, said Colton. How do you know? Asked Bonnie. I just know, said Colton. All four get into the jeep. The building appears. So, you're telling me Colton's wax figures came to life? I don't believe it, said Dominic Daniel, appearing next to Brandon. Trust me, I've seen it before. At least, this time there's less monsters, said Brandon, roaring in the distance. What was that? Asked Dominic. Your turn, said Brandon. The wax figure of Bigfoot appears across the street, then roars again. Is that Bigfoot? Asked Dominic. You and Colton's creation, said Brandon. It's coming towards us. What do we do? Asked Dominic. I'd say run, but it'll catch us, said Brandon. The jeep approaches. Stop the jeep, stop it, said Colton. What about Brandon and Dominic? Asked Brianna. I need to borrow your jeep. Get out, said Colton. All three get out of the jeep. Whatever your plan is, do it now, said Brianna. The jeep drives towards the wax figure of Bigfoot. And quat, move, and quat, yelled Colton. Both Brandon and Dominic move. The wax figure of Bigfoot looks at the jeep, then roars. Colton pulls the pin out of a grenade, drops it onto the floor of the jeep, then jumps out of it. The Jeep rams into the wax figure of Bigfoot, then drives into the building. An explosion comes from inside of the building. All three run towards Colton. "Are you all right?" asked Brianna. "I'm fine." "Another dead," said Colton. The rubble starts moving. The wax figure of Bigfoot appears, stands, then roars. "He's not dead," said Dominic. A creaking sound. The building collapses onto the wax figure of Bigfoot, then crushes him. "Now he's dead," said Colton. "How ironic was that?" asked Dominic. "How many more?" asked Brianna. 6, said Colton. Colton's cell phone starts ringing. Colton answers his cell phone. "And quat, Colton, and quat, help, and quat, I'm surrounded, and quat," yelled Sharon. "Graham, what's going on?" asked Colton. "Zombies, lots of zombies," said Sharon. "I'm coming right now." Colton's cell phone hangs up. "Graham's in trouble," said Colton, running. "Colton, wait up," said Brianna. All 5 are following Colton. The house appears. Colton runs up the staircase, then into the house. Graham, Grandma, are you in here?" A wax figure of a zombie moans. The gun fires. The wax figure of the zombie falls onto the floor. More wax figures of zombies appear. The gun clicks. "Shit." Colton grabs a fire poker. "Come on, you bastards," said Colton, swinging their fire poker, then breathes heavily. The wax figures of zombies appear, laying on the floor. A banging sound comes from the closet. Colton opens the closet door. Sharon appears. "Oh, Colton," said Sharon. "Thank God you're all right," said Colton. A wax figure of a zombie growls. "Colton," said Sharon. Colton turns around. The wax figure of the zombie grabs the fire poker, then tries biting Colton. Colton is struggling. A gun fires. The wax figure of the zombie falls onto the floor. Brianna appears. "Thanks. It's safe, Graham," said Colton. The closet door reopens. "Are you okay?" asked Sharon. "I'm fine. I think that was the last zombie," said Colton. "Did you destroy your monsters?" asked Sharon. "Not all of them. I have 5 left," said Colton, screaming in the distance. "Colton," said Brianna. Colton runs onto the porch. "And quat, help, and quat, help me, and quat," yelled Joseph Johnson, appearing to run down the street. "And quat, Joe, and quat, Joe, and quat, over here, and quat," yelled Colton. Joseph runs up the staircase. "What's wrong?" asked Dominic. "Those things," said Joseph, pointing. "The wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves are approaching. Inside, now," said Colton. "All right, run into the house. The front door locks." "What do we do?" asked Dominic. "Hold them here until they get inside," said Colton. "What happens when they get inside?" asked Bonnie. "We will kill them," said Colton. "Arm yourselves," said Brianna, handing a magazine. Colton reloads his gun. "Arrows are going through the window. They're getting in," said Joseph. "Kill them," said Colton. The guns continuously firing. Axes are being thrown. A wax figure of the dwarvish zombie elf jumps onto Joseph's back, then bites his left shoulder. Joseph rams the wax figure of the dwarvish zombie elf into the wall, then throws it to the floor. The wax figure of the dwarvish zombie elf speaks gibberish. Joseph stomps onto the wax figure of the dwarvish zombie elf's head. "Never let me make you angry," said Dominic. Joseph laughs. The windows are smashing. The wax figure of the dwarvish zombie elves are running. The guns continue firing. Arrows are going into the walls. Sharon groans. An arrow appears in Sharon's right leg. Stay still, said Colton. A wax figure of a dwarvish zombie elf laughs. Colton looks, then see can of air freshener on the table. The can of air freshener is being grabbed. Colton opens a drawer, then grabs some duct tape. A lighter is being taped to the can of air freshener. The wax figures of a dwarvish zombie elves pointing arrows at the doorway. A can rolls into the room. The wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves look at the can, then approach it. Colton appears in the doorway, that points the can of air freshener with the lighter on it. Fire blows, then burns the wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves. The wax figures of the dwarvish zombie elves fall onto the ground. Nice job, said Brianna. 4 to go, said Colton. A car horn honks. All right, run onto the porch. Anthony Cardone appears. Hey Colton, what's going on? Asked Anthony. It's the sound of tires squealing in the distance. A black car approaches Anthony. Tony. Move, said Colton. The black car speeds towards Anthony. Anthony moves. The black car crashes into Anthony's car. Colton runs towards Anthony. What the hell? Said Anthony. The car door opens. The wax figure of man in the hoodie appears, points, then fires his gun. Colton moves Anthony, then gets shot in his shoulder. Another gun fires. The wax figure of the man in the hoodie gets shot, points. Gun, then gets shot again. Colton, are you all right? Colton asked Anthony. I'm fine, said Colton, groaning. Another car pulls up. The driver door opens, the shuts. Ian Chrysler appears. Colton, are you all right? Asked Ian. I'm fine, Ian, said Colton. Another car stops next to the curb, then the driver door opens. The wax figure of the police officer appears. We're all right, officer. He was just winged, said Ian. Thank God you're all right, said the wax figure of the police officer, pulling out his handgun, then points it at Ian. Oh shit, said Ian. An arrow goes through the wax figure of the police officer's eye. The wax figure of the police officer falls onto the ground. Oh my God, said Colton. Dominic holding a bow. That guy was crazy, said Dominic. Nice aiming, said Colton. A truck parks across the street. The door opens, then shuts. Laura Tinney appears. Laura, said Colton. I got bad news, said Laura. What? Asked Colton. The wax figure of Abby appears next to Laura. This is your lucky day, Colton. I'm not gonna kill your sister, only if you get into the truck. Ryan wants to see you, said Abby. All right, I'll get into the truck, said Colton, getting into the truck. Good. Don't follow us, said Abby. The truck drives away. A factory appears. The truck stops. Both the wax figure of Abby and Colton get out of the truck, then walk towards the factory. Colton, finally. Well, you killed all your monsters, except us. But that's impressive, said Ryan. Why'd you bring me here, Ryan? Asked Colton. All your co-writers are safe from harm. Even your sister. But you forgot one, said Ryan, pulling off a sheet. Richard Hardy appears. Uncle Rich, said Colton. He's alive for now, said Ryan, putting a rope around Richard's neck. Don't do this, said Colton. Do what, this? Asked Ryan, pushing Richard off the catwalk. No, said Colton, elbowing. The wax figure of Abby grabs the gun, then fires it. The rope around Richard's neck gets shot. Colton turns around, then fires the gun again. The wax figure of Abby gasps, then falls into the floor. Colton runs towards Richard, then takes the rope off. Colton, what's going on? Asked Richard. I'll explain later, said Colton. Look out, said Richard. Ryan flies towards Colton, grabs him, then pins him against the wall. You can't be the hero, Colton. You can't save them all. I'm gonna kill all your co-writers. And you know what would be the best way? By possessing you, said Ryan. You can take my body, but not my soul, said Colton. Ryan throws Colton into a machine. Colton groans, looks up, then sees an iron bar in his stomach. Ryan lands onto the floor, grabs another iron bar, then walks towards Richard. I'm gonna kill him before I take your body. Colton laughs. Why are you laughing? Asked Ryan. Because I'm the one who created you. Me. Rich had nothing to do with you. So, you wanted the author. You got him, said Colton. Ryan looks at Richard. Then I won't kill you. I'll kill you instead, said Ryan, approaching Colton, then raises the iron bar. Just one more thing, said Colton. What? Asked Ryan. Be gone, you unholy demon. Ryan groans, then raises the iron bar again. Be gone, you unholy demon. Ryan groans again. Be gone. Colton gasps. The iron bar appears through Colton's chest. You unholy demon, said Colton, falling onto the floor. Ryan groans, falls onto his knees, then screams. The demon's spirit goes into the ossuary. Ryan groans, then looks up at Colton. Colton, Colton, no. Colton, you can't be dead. And quat, Colton, and quat, yelled Ryan. 1 week later. We are here today to say goodbye to Colton James Dennis, who was a big part of our lives. He cared, cherished, and loved each and every one of us. We met a few years ago. He told me if he ever died young, he'd want one person to carry on his legacy. A person he cared for, like his own brother, Christopher Cania. All of his books belong to you now. Thank you all for coming. Colton would have appreciated it, said Minister Number 1, walking away. Hey Chris, you'll take care of his books, right? Asked Brianna. Of course, said Christopher Cania, appearing, then gets into a car. The car drives away. The airport appears. Christopher walks onto a plane, then sits into a seat. The airplane flies away. London, England. The airplane lands. Christopher is walking off of the plane, goes outside, then gets into a taxi. The taxi is driving, then stops next to the curb. Christopher walks into the building, then into an office. Did you bring them? Asked male voice number 1. They're all here, said Christopher. The chair spins around. Jacob Di Agostino appears. Good, let's begin, said Jacob. The end.